Hi, this training is to provide you the steps to document internal audit results and reporting. First, you want to go up to Compliance Management and notice that now we have two tabs called Audit Results and Audit Reports. The first thing you want to do is go to Audit Reports and make sure that you create a new report for the audit that you're working on. So I've went over here and created an audit report for 2017 Cloud MDM. You want to update your status to in progress when you are working on this report. Actually keep it on open. We will default this. And the reviewer is the management who is going to acknowledge your audit report. And we're going to capture this acknowledgement through the workflow process when the auditor, who's the owner of this report, submits it for approval. Keep in mind that the management is not approving whether or not your result is correct or not, but instead they are approving that they have read your report and have provided their responses to the audit findings. Okay. You have the audit period, which are going to be the start day and the end day of what you'll be testing to review, and the executive summary section where you will document your audit approach and your observation. We also have charts to demonstrate that how many audit results passed, failed, or inconclusive. So you will see that chart here. And if you have any finding, make sure you categorize those findings so that we can have a good summary chart of the different risk groups that was identified. Okay. Down here, you have all your audit results, and you can create your audit results by clicking on this button, but then you will have to find the tier 2 tests that you want to test and document your audit result for. What I recommend is you create your audit result by going into the test result bucket, sorting for tier 2 if those are the tests that you want to take, review, and select the tests. Look at how the compliance documentations are captured, and come up with your audit results in here. Okay, so for this one, I looked at their evidence. The control is on review of policy for information security, and we want to test this annually, right? So then this document request looks good, and they provided a piece of evidence. So let's take a look at this evidence. Okay. This evidence is showing that, this guy, Jack, probably a manager who's in charge of the Cloud MDM policy, hopefully, said that they only update their policy a minimum of every 3 years. Sometimes they have other documentations that are only updated every 6 years, and this is a heavy workload for them, right? So as we all know, on the audit and compliance side, that laws and regulations are changing rapidly, and every 3 to 6 years is probably not sufficient. So now I'm going to go back to that test results and document my audit results. So if I didn't have one here, I would click on new test result and add a new one here. And I'm going to make this inconclusive for now instead of fail. Actually, you can go ahead and fail them and say that um, legal and regulatory requirements from new contracts and new markets may require policy updates to occur more frequently than every 3 years. TIPCO should work with management. Well, TIPCO management should work with legal and any regulatory advisors to understand requirements as they change. Okay. Update policies as soon as these requirements are notified. Okay. I think that the other thing I would also call out is that lack of resources. There may be a lack of resources to maintain policies, to keep up with policy, to keep up with policy updates with new regulatory changes. Okay, so click save and make sure you add this to the audit report that you want the audit result to show up on. And when I click on the audit report, now I can see that I have these 2 audit results. And I will go and continue to finish all my audit result testing. And at any point in time, if you want to add a finding, you can create a finding here that will show up on your audit report. And whenever you add a finding, these are the key fields that you want to add, which are the description, what you recommend, some type of risk rating, and make sure you have the category because that's going to help you define the areas that have the most findings. Make sure you assign it to the user that you want to share this finding with. And if you want to email the user right away about this finding, you can check this checkbox, and when you click save, it will go to them right away. And what your user needs to do is provide you their corrective action plan, which is also called remediation plan, and let you know what status the remediation is in and a target completion date. Okay. And on the finding here, notice that this finding is tied to your audit report. But what you also want to do is tie this finding to the object, the asset that you are auditing. So in this case, we're auditing a product and service called Cloud MDM. You don't have to tie test results on the compliance side because that is already addressed in your audit results. I also recommend if you want to tie your audit and make it a more risk-based audit, tying your the risk register into your finding. However, it's kind of difficult to create a new risk here because you risk duplicating risks that have already been identified. So what I recommend you do is going into a new tab, and since you have access to browse the risk register, you can go to risk management and go to the risk register and see what are all the risks that have already been identified. And I noticed that there's a security policy and procedure risk over here. So if I take a look at this risk, I can say, yep, this risk also applies to this finding that I'm working on. So you can go ahead and link it to the finding. Okay, so let me go back to the finding, and I'm also, oh, go to the product. Okay, so this was the finding that came from the audit. Okay, so I'll go back to the audit report, and we're here. So when you finish your audit results and finish documenting your finding, you can come up here and write your executive summary. You can restate your audit results and the findings summary in your executive summary as well. In the executive summary, also make sure you kind of write the scope of this audit report.